In today's video, we're going to go through what's new in CloudBees CI 2.289.2.2. Are you new here? If you are, welcome. And if you are new here, you don't know who I am. My name is Darren Pope, and I'm a developer advocate for CloudBees. On June 30th, 2021, CloudBees CI 2.289.2.2 was released. Prior to watching all of today's videos, you might want to go watch another video, which you can reference right up here in the right-hand corner, of a live stream that I did with Mark Waite about the release of Jenkins LTS 2.289.2. If you missed that link, you can catch it down in the description of this video. By going through that video, you'll get some deeper insights to what happened in the core of Jenkins that also apply to CloudBees CI. Now, we're not going to go through the full release notes for this. I'll leave that as an exercise for you, but I do want to call out a few different items that may be applicable to you. If you've never taken a look at the release notes, you can navigate to them by accessing docs.cloudbees.com, click on the documentation link, then click on CloudBees CI, and on the documentation dropdown, go to the bottom and select Release Notes. And then at that point, you are now on the Release Notes page for CloudBees CI. And you can see here at the top, we have 2.289.2.2. Now, one thing I want to call out that applies to both CloudBees CI on traditional platforms and CloudBees CI on modern cloud platforms is this top big red block. If for some reason you have either the jQuery or the jQuery attached plugins installed, those should be uninstalled from your instances. Again, I'm not going to go deep into this, but you can click on how to determine if a plugin is in use and then make sure that you uninstall those plugins. To start out, let's go over and take a look at the full release notes for the traditional platforms. We can see here that there was a security advisory that was also issued along with this release. Again, I will let you read through that at your own leisure. We've already discussed the jQuery and jQuery detached. There were a couple of new features around configuration as code, or CASC. So we've talked about that in a lot in the past. These are more UI related, so we're not going to take a look at those specifically today. But one that I want to call out specifically is that there is now a new CloudBees Prometheus plugin that is available for the Operations Center. Here's how I want you to remember this, at least for now. If you need to install Prometheus on your Operations Center, you'll go to your plugin manager and select the Prometheus plugin that is listed there. If you need the Prometheus plugin for your controllers, you will go to the Plugin Center for your controllers and install the Prometheus plugin that is available there. Again, to reiterate, at the time of recording, use the Prometheus plugin that is available within your update centers for your plugins. One enhancement that is specific to traditional platforms is the upgraded JGroups release that came out in this release. If you're not running high availability for your traditional installation, then this doesn't affect you. However, if you are using the CloudBees HA for traditional platforms, you need to go through, read this, and understand the changes that happened in the custom configuration if you are using a custom configuration. If you're not using a custom configuration, then this is not going to affect you at all, or shouldn't. But if you are using a custom configuration, then you need to make sure that you update your custom configuration to set the maximum length settings, which are related back to the upgrade to 4.2.15. There are a handful of other generalized fixes and improvements, but I want to take us over to the modern cloud platforms real quick to show you a couple of things that are specific to modern cloud platforms. So we will just hit the back arrow and we will go over to full release notes for modern cloud platforms. And we'll scroll down, again, critical, new features, those are all still the same. But here's a feature enhancement. If you are running CloudBees CI on AWS's EKS, what you have the ability to do now is to split controllers across multiple ALBs to accommodate larger deployments. By default, there are service quotas on an ALB that will restrict the number of controllers that can be connected to a single ALB. In this release, now there can be multiple ALBs to service the number of controllers that you have running within EKS. And also, there is one new feature. So if we take a look at this very top item, viewing pod templates that are available in a controller. Up until now, you had to know the pod templates that were available to use. Now, you can just browse around and see the number of pod templates that are available for you to use within a controller. Now, before we leave, I want to call out a known issue. As we scroll down, and we'll just stay on the modern because this is true for both modern and for traditional. If we scroll all the way to the bottom, we can see here that resolving a failed migration of the role-based access control, the Rbac plugin. Now this is a little bit longer to read, but I want you to understand as you are upgrading from previous versions of CloudBees CI to this version of CloudBees CI, you might encounter a problem with your Rbac upgrade. So this is a known issue. There is a mitigation for this problem that you can look at by migrating from versions prior to 5.42. And finally, one more thing, and this is specific to Jenkins LTS. It also applies to CloudBees CI. So let's take a look at our 289 upgrade notes for Jenkins. So we'll open in a new tab. And this top section here, the session fixation security fix. So once your upgrade goes in for 289.2.2, if you start having issues with some authentication, then what may be happening is you may be hitting this specific issue. So much like what we saw with our known issue to how you can mitigate it with Rbac, this is how you could potentially mitigate the issues with session fixation. If for some reason you need to disable it completely, there is a switch here, a -D setting, if you will, that will completely disable it. So that's a quick overview of what's new and changed in CloudBees CI 2.289.2.2. Before you upgrade from whatever version you're running at to 289.2.2, be sure to go through the release notes, read the upgrade guide, understand what could potentially happen when you upgrade your existing environments. If you have any comments or questions, you can reach out to us on Twitter at CloudBeesDevs. If this video was helpful to you, give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to CloudBees TV yet, why not? Take a moment, click on that subscribe button, and then ring that bell, and you'll be notified anytime there's new content available on CloudBees TV. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next video.